Do you want to know how to have a healthy relationship with your family? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. In this video, we're going to talk about habits that create peace and connection. Those habits will help us to create good, supportive family relationships, to solve problems, to improve calm communication and regulation. Habits are really interesting things. When you develop a habit, you may not be fully aware that you are developing a habit. A habit is kind of like a snowflake. Snowflakes are so tiny, they're so light, and they fall very gently. They seem weightless, but after a little while, sometimes even just an hour or two, enough snowflakes can fall to form a destroying force that can take out the side of a mountain, that can kill people. Those snowflakes can turn into an avalanche. That is pretty much how it is with habits. We do the same little action at the same little time again and again, and it seems like it might not be doing anything, and then soon it is a habit that we do every day without even thinking. And hopefully it's a good habit and not a bad one. To create a good family relationship, we want to create habits of peace and connection, habits of harmony, good communication, and calmness. So how do we go about doing that? One of the best things that you can do to start a new habit or to change old habits that might be creating contention or dysfunction is to deliberately talk about where you are headed as a group. So gather together as a family and discuss what your ideal family would be like. Where do you want to end up 10 or 20 years in the future as far as your relationships go? What do you want it to feel like to be part of your family? Have that conversation as a group and then ask yourself the question, well, what's getting in our way? What is it that is stopping us from becoming that type of family right now? And then if you can have an honest, deliberate conversation, you're probably going to find out there are things like impatience or perfectionism. Maybe there's controlling tendencies. Maybe there are people who are being selfish and not helping out. Maybe the communication needs help. No matter the circumstance, once you've had that conversation and you've identified the things getting in the way, now you can say, all right, let's take these things one by one. Let's find skills and principles that we can live by in order to become the family that we want to be. Healthy relationships don't happen accidentally, they happen proactively. So deciding ahead of time is going to make a big difference in you being able to create the type of relationship that you will be able to hold on to for support, peace, and connection throughout your life. Let's talk a little bit about respect. The word respect means to revere someone, to understand their role, to honor that role, to treat them in a way that shows regard and caring for that role that they have in your life. So the first thing that we need to talk about then is, what are our roles as a family? I've written a lot of books, 15 now is my count of books that I've written related to family relationships, self-government skills and principles. But this one here was an instant bestseller. This book, Roles, The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success, could really help you as you're trying to identify what are our roles in the family. If you take the time to deliberately talk about your roles as a family, then everybody will know what is required to keep the family relationships and communications functional. When the teachers, like the parents in the family, don't teach, or the learners, the children in the family, don't learn because they don't understand their roles in the family, then dysfunction ensues. So if we want to keep our relationships healthy, we have to know who each other is so that we can properly respect each other. That starts with roles. Reading this book as a family is super fun. It's a great read aloud because it's a story of a family who doesn't have their roles right. You see the problems that they have, and then you see them get on the same page with their roles and relationships in the family, and everything changes for the better. So in order to respect each other in the family, we need to understand who each other is first. The next thing that we need to learn as a family, as far as habits that we can develop as a family, is we need to develop a habit of accountability. Each person should take personal accountability for their own behavior and choices. I know that's easier said than done. There are some people that absolutely resist taking personal responsibility for their behavior or choices. We have to create an environment where that can happen for people, because if we do not get in the habit of taking personal accountability for our own thoughts and behaviors, then we will start to blame them on other people. This will create family fights instead of family unity. The way to create family unity is for each person to be self-governing and take full responsibility of themselves. This means that you need to implement a system that helps each person take full accountability for themselves. Another key part of good communication is making sure that you all have the same skills to work with. If everyone has the same communication and problem-solving skills, there are way less problems. People understand each other. The environment at home becomes more safe and predictable because you're all using the same words and skills. I know it could sound a little bit less creative than you might like, maybe even a little less emotional, but actually that's a good thing, right? If we can keep the communications and problem solving less emotional, then we don't have to think of those problems that we're solving as being the most important part of our day. Wouldn't you like to spend more hours in your day talking about things like stuff that's happening in the news or what you want to do to fix up the home, instead of spending your life always talking about somebody's emotional experience that they're having right then? Most people would. And if we can find our rules of engagement for our emotions, our problem solving, our good communication skills, then we can open up the door to talking about a lot more things that matter to us than just our behavior. Problem solving is key. If you've got a system for solving problems as a family, that will help you have healthy relationships as a group. But each person does need to take responsibility for their side of solving the problem. Your problem can be solved on your side. You don't have to have the other person agree with you. You can just identify where you went wrong, should have done better, and own up to that, and then the problems immediately get better. There is a problem-solving exercise. I call it the SOTAS exercise. It actually helps develop the prefrontal cortex. But if a family develops what I call a SOTAS mindset, meaning they understand how to do this exercise and they look at their problems through the lens of this exercise, if they all know how to do that, they're going to have less conflicts and problems and have more unity as a family group. I'm going to tell you where to find out more about those SOTAS exercises and other skills of self-government. But first, I'll just mention what SOTAS stands for. SOTAS is an acronym that stands for situation, options, disadvantages, advantages, and solution. There are always multiple options, multiple disadvantages to those options, and multiple advantages to those options before we find our one solution. And if the family can recognize that, then hopefully they can be more open-minded and understanding in all of their conversations. Listening to each other and really caring about where the other person is coming from is vital. But we still have to be able to solve our problems, right? There's a whole lot more information that I'd like to share with you about solving problems in families. This next video will give you the skills that you need as well as increased understanding about problem solving. The video is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video next. I'll see you there.